So for the after show, it's kind of open to anybody's comments that you might care to make about the show tonight or anything else that you'd like to talk about. Sorry we had some minor glitches tonight, but again, this is a live show. And we're all a bunch of amateurs trying to do the best we can to make this as enjoyable an operation as we know how to make it. So I hope you'll forgive the minor problems that we may have had. Anybody have any comments or suggestions for discussion?
Jim, the reality was I just wanted to see the ON30 locomotive first.
I wonder why.
I got you.
That was a pretty neat looking locomotive there, and I like the idea of putting the Stanton drive in it. Made it simple.
It's a kind of a drop in. I like the way you can do the Katy couplers too. I thought that was really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I started adopting that for a lot of the other shells I've been working on, including the larger 78 tonners, which are like a steeple cab and a flat motor design, and the new 80-ton box cabs, which are going to be coming out hopefully pretty soon.
Thanks, Aaron.
Yeah.
Similarly, Staten Drive in my H2 Plymouth, 20-ton Plymouth. This comes in like about 6 or 8 pieces. The cab is separate, roof separate, the hood is separate, the hood top is separate, the grille is separate, and the underframe is separate pieces that you can tweak and adjust.
And what scale is that?
This is O scale ON30, and
That's neat.
Very good.
It is. And
right now I'm
that's with a Stanton drive too?
yes, Stanton Drive. I forget the actual number on it, but you see it's more like a 10-foot.
Yeah.
It might be an 8-foot drive. Yeah, it's an 8-foot, I think. But I'm struggling with TCS sound right now. I had everything up and running real well, and
Train control system.
the keep alive keeps the train moving, but keep alive does not keep the sound going. Every time you go over a switch or something and you get a little glitch, the sound resets.
But it keeps
and
going.
But the train keeps going. I pick it up and take it off the track and set it on the ground, and it runs for 15 seconds, but no sound. So I'm working with TCS on that to see if they have any more suggestions. But
is the company you work with to get those motorized systems, are they hard to deal with?
no, not at all. Northwest Short Line has been around for ages. Thing is, they don't stock these because there's 40 or 50 different sizes and styles.
Yeah, that's
they
the whole
build
problem.
them up on order, and they're still pretty quick on it. It's usually, they're usually built within a week. But there's a lot of standard parts that they have, but they just don't. In fact, out of each one of these, there are adjustments. The axle bushings will rotate 90 degrees, and every 90 degrees, it gives a different wheel span.
Really?
So, but they're not going to build them like that and put 100 of each in stock. They're just build them as they're ordered.
Okay.
I've used those magic carpets in O scale for years and years and years and years, and I think they're wonderful. A lot of people don't like them, but I love them.
I guess it's all on what you're used to working with.
Yeah.
Are they still available?
The magic
I don't think so. Not right now. Recently, Northwest Shortline was bought by a new owner,
yeah.
Yeah.
and they're kind of just getting everything back up. A while back, when I was getting my other batch of Stanton drives, it took a long time because they were actually at the moment they were working on getting a new email specifically for dealers, and they were doing all this stuff, reorganizing all the communications stuff. So it was kind of difficult to contact them for a little bit, but they're back up and running now. I think they're just kind of getting back to it.
Yeah, as long as they're easy to talk to, if you got a problem, then ask them about it. That'd be good.
Yeah. I know the previous owner, I dealt with him. He was fantastic. I mean, he couldn't have been more helpful.
Mm-hmm.
I hope it stays that way, especially with all the gearing, the replacement gears for all these locomotives, for all the Bachmann ON30 stuff. They've been making metal replacement gears, and that's without their help, I can't spec them out.
Yeah. Yeah. Anybody else doing anything with the Stanton drives?
I'd like to ask a question. Does anyone know where you can get the stanchions for the side rails on a switcher? Just the stanchions alone? I'm having a hard time trying to find them.
Keith Weissman has some that are really HO scale. You might consider them a little small. I got them here somewhere. But they would be a close railing. Would on O scale, it would be the railing would be out that 2 inches or so, which is enough. But I haven't looked close what prototype they are. But yeah, Keith has them. Here they are. You're not going to see much because they're in plastic to start with.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And they have the hole drilled in them for our, they're cast with the hill. They're white metal. They're not the brass. If you can get them
in harder plastic, I think they.
Yeah, some of the brass makers make them in brass detail parts make them. I tried the plastic on this.
Oh yeah.
And they just didn't. They're too fragile. They're way too fragile. They didn't hold up. So I'm going to these white metal ones. The good cast brass ones are hard to find. I'm not sure they're making
Precision Scale used to have them, I think.
Yeah, time. And they're great.
Yeah.
I ran out of those. I had like 3 packs of them and ran out of them and haven't been able to resource them. Yeah.
I wonder if Precision Scale will bring them back, the new company.
They're doing pretty good. We've been placing a lot of orders in our group for steam parts.
Okay.
And it's just amazing what they do have now. So do you have a catalog, an old scale precision catalog?
I had an old one, but I don't.
Yeah, I have the old one too, but they can convert the numbers, and they've been successful in filling orders of 50 parts and that.
Yeah.
We go together and place the orders.
That helps a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really great news. I haven't ordered them for quite a while, but that's great news.
I'll have to look into it.
Well, like I got the rods off for an old Wabash Mogul kit, a Chemtron kit that was maybe in the late 50s or 60s. Yeah. And they had them in stock.
Wow.
I was going around at Chicago looking for them for 3 years, but I just tried the catalog and boom, got them.
As long as you have the numbers to work with, I think you'll be all right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
is a catalog something that you purchased a while back, or is it available online?
I
It
don't know if
might
they
be
have one.
online. I purchased, it's a hard
Download.
copy I got, and it's, I don't know, 25 years old.
What'd
Yeah.
you say, Martin? You can download it?
Used to be able to download it off the website.
Okay. I'll have to go back and look.
They may have changed that, but I have downloaded a couple versions.
Okay.
Huh.
Learn something every day. If you don't ask, you don't find out.
Are these the little stanchions that hold the handrails off a boiler of a steam loco?
No, they're ones on diesel, a switcher.
What kind are
Okay.
you looking? What are you looking
That-
for
I
specifically?
have a gentleman that bought some engines off me, and he wants to change the styling. I had a couple of switchers in Atlas, but they didn't have the side rails, and he needed the stanchions.
Okay, okay,
An
Those,
SW9.
okay, well, P&D sells EMD stanchion.
they?
kit. Yeah,
Okay.
it's $35 for a set, 24 on a side, 4 on the ends.
Is P&D still selling stuff? I know they sold all
Oh,
of
no, their website's still up. They were going pretty much online only sales, so the stuff's there.
Okay. Thanks, Martin.
Yeah, they've got a couple different types, actually.
Beautiful.
RS ends and
Well, I
odds and
gave him a
ends.
set of RS ones. I had 2 sets of RS stanchions, and I said, well, maybe you'll be able to use those.
Well, there's EMD, GP press types and cast type.
Mhm.
So they've got 2 different sets.
I'll have to tell him to look there and find
And
out.
what company was that?
It's P&D Hobby.
Andy Hobby.
They
hold
used to
on a
have
second.
everything.
Hold on a second. Let's see if I can put the link to the specific page right in the chat for you. Try that.
Okay.
It's alphabetical. It's about the middle of the page. It's page 6.
Anybody that's here tonight going to the narrow gauge convention?
Yes.
Yes.
Have
I know,
fun.
Bill, I know you are, but seriously, if you guys are going, love to see some photos or some videos about what's happening and that kind of thing at that convention.
Yep.
Because I know there's a lot of interest in it, and a lot of us just, can't make it. That's a long way to go.
It's an awfully long swim for me.
Yes, sir.
Well, Fran is flying. I'm driving, so I didn't want to be on. I didn't want to be on a plane with anybody who might have COVID. So
You don't have to deal with it again.
no, exactly.
And
Is anybody
listen,
else? Is anybody else going?
Yeah, Phil, this is John Mick. I'm going to go.
Hey,
Maybe
John.
we can meet up.
Yeah, we should meet up there. That's what I was going to suggest. Is we should get
John,
together there.
John, what scale do you model?
Me, HO,
HO?
when I get time.
Well, if you look on the website, I don't know if you actually can get this completely from the website, but the layouts that are open are pretty amazing.
Yeah.
There are a lot of really nice layouts in the Northwest up there in the Pacific Northwest.
What day are you coming, Phil?
I'm going to get in on Thursday. I'm driving up and doing a stop. I'm actually going to Train Mountain on the way up and spending the day stopping in Train Mountain and then driving on up.
I'm
So
flying in on Wednesday, so
I think I get there Wednesday. I get there Wednesday or Thursday. Thursday morning.
yeah, I'm flying in Wednesday afternoon from San Diego. I'm going to see my daughter in San Diego, and then I'll fly up.
No, actually, I get in Wednesday night. That's right. Wednesday. I get in Wednesday because Thursday, I think we're going to go check out some of the layouts on Thursday because Thursday is kind of a good day to do layout tours.
Yeah. Got room for me? Or you got a full car?
I jumped in with Fran and Jay, so you have to ask Fran and Jay if they've got room for a fourth.
So,
Just
I'll ask them tonight. We're on tonight, so
okay, that'd be great. Yeah, because
Yep.
I'm flying in and don't plan to have a car.
Yeah, it's some pretty interesting layouts.
What's the best one? What's the one you're really looking forward to?
I haven't picked a single one that's most interesting. There's just a whole bunch of very interesting ones. Yeah, it was interesting. We had a little event here in the Bay Area and got to see the Boston and Albany layout here, and it was a pretty amazing layout. I've got some pictures of it. I've also got some pictures that I was sent of the O-scale layouts that were open at the National Convention, and I may try to grab those and see if we can look at some of those at some point.
Okay.
So there really are O-scale layouts still in the world.
Come on this side, Phil.
Yeah, there's some fantastic, private layouts. But we're going to see, I'm going to see as many, the ON30 that I can. But something I'm really interested in seeing is the Boeing employee railroad club layout, which is huge.
That's on Wednesday, isn't it?
They may have a tour of that. I don't know. I can't make any of the tours.
I think that tour is on Wednesday, and I won't be there yet. Then
not too many people will. I mean, I question their timing on some of the like the bus tours. You'd have to fly in Tuesday, and that's like 2 or 3 extra nights lodging.
yeah,
And
It's expensive.
but let's see here.
I had planned to meet Ted Becker there, and we were going to go together and do a bunch of things together. Not happening.
Yeah, this I think is actually the first one we're going to see is the number one. We're going to have like a 2-hour drive the first day up to Whidbey
nice.
Island.
It's up on Whidbey Island, which is
Yeah, it's a 2-hour drive plus a ferry. But there's lots. If you go to Seattle Narrow Gauge Convention, Seattle NNGC, you can get a glance at many layouts. I don't know, 30 something.
Phil, is your region having a convention pretty soon?
we have a convention every year in April, and next year it's being run actually by the group that's out of Sacramento, what's called the Sierra Division, and then the year after that is the Coast Division. Yeah, we typically have one every year. We missed 20. There just wasn't time to react in 20.
Yeah.
Basically what happened was COVID hit in March and our convention was April, and nobody was ready to try to do a virtual. And we ended up doing our 21 convention was virtual. And then we did the national virtually. And now what we're really struggling with is how to integrate virtual and physical conventions together. And we're actually going to try in September. We're doing a meet event, and we've got some clinics, and we're going to record one room of the clinics is going to be recorded. And then what we're going to do is look at having those. We have a regular, every other week, we have a Saturday morning meetup. And what we're looking at doing is actually having a replay. So kind of our thinking is, one of the thought process we've had is, rather than trying to do a physical convention or a virtual convention at the same time, record the things at the physical convention that can be done virtually, and then do a replay a couple of weeks later. So the idea is you have a convention, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You have 3 clinic rooms. You record 2 of those. Maybe you do like a video tour of the contest room, and record that. And then the idea is to have maybe a couple of weeks later, a Saturday, Sunday, kind of, essentially a replay of the clinic, of the convention. And the idea is now, if you went to the physical convention, you can do one of two things. You can come to the virtual convention. You can either go back to a clinic you went to and you went home and you tried it and you couldn't figure out how to do it, and interact with the clinician at the virtual conventions. The idea is to get the clinicians to come back. At the virtual convention, you'll play the clinic, but then after the clinic, have the clinician there in the virtual, in a breakout room, basically there to talk about the clinic. And that way, if you went to the physical convention, you've got a second chance to go talk to the clinician, catch them really one-on-one, get some great answers. Because we found at the virtual convention, we had this concept called the clinic goes on. So when a clinic ended in the main, which is actually a webcast, a webinar thing, we had what we call the clinic goes on. So the clinician would go to a breakout room and anyone who wanted could go spend time with them. And we had some of those times after a clinic, a couple of them ran for 2 hours. And so we're trying to see if we can replicate that same concept in, a follow-up replay clinic. And then for people who can't go to the physical convention, they can go to the virtual convention. And the beauty of it is now everybody who goes to the virtual replay is all in the virtual space. Because if you go to the virtual convention, you really can't interact with people at the physical convention. Physical people really can't interact with virtual people. But if you do it where the physical convention is, one time, and then you do a virtual a couple of weeks later, it allows you to have everyone who comes to the virtual convention be able to interact in the things where you're able to create with Zoom. But you can see how amazing these layouts are.
Just amazing.
Yep. Phil, this is John Mick. Is there a way I can track you down at Tacoma?
Yeah, I'll send you my my phone number here in the text.
Okay.
These are all separate. How many layouts they got on tour?
Count. Seemed like it might have been between 25 and 30.
Wow. They all within a certain mile radius, or are they?
Yeah, they are spread out. I mean, some of them, majority of them are less than an hour drive, but some of them are like 2 hours or an hour, hour and a half. Okay, I'll give this up. You get the point.
Yeah, you do.
Seattle narrow gauge, SeattleNNG.com layouts.
Narrow gauge.
Phil, do you live in Pleasanton?
Yeah, in Pleasanton, in the Bay Area. Yep.
I used to have family that lived there. Now they've moved over to Mountain House.
Yep. You can buy a much larger house in Mountain House.
They did.
Yep.
They're retired now. So.
Yeah, the Bay Area is a layering thing, right? You move from the bay where the water is over the hills to where we are.
Yeah.
Little incremental drop in cost, relative cost, and then you move from here over the next set of hills to Mountain House, and there's another incremental reduction in cost.
Yeah, well, I lived in Los Altos Hills for about 20 years.
Yep.
Yep.
And you probably couldn't afford to move back now. That's the problem.
Probably not. Yeah, but I was there just the right time. So.
Yep.
Anyway, I was there just before.
Where are you now, John?
I'm in Alpine, Arizona.
Alpine, Arizona.
Yeah. So I'm out in the middle of nowhere in the White Mountains at 8,400 feet altitude.
Gee.
Great place to retire, but so.
Easy breathing.
Yes. No smog.
Mm-hmm.
About 45 degrees in the morning usually.
Wow.
We've been getting quite a bit of rain though, so that's good. We need it. So, no.
Hey, Martin.
Spent a lot of years in the semiconductor business.
Oh,
doing product definition and defining new products, and
Martin,
involved with microprocessors mostly the whole time.
Martin, did you?
Guys, I'm going to say goodnight, and I'll see you next week. Thanks so much for coming.
I'll see you, Jim.
See ya.
Bye. Martin,
Yeah.
did your super get the information I sent him for the tree?
Well, if the superintendent did, it would have been me.
Okay, well, I sent
I-
some pictures to somebody.
You must have, okay, you probably sent it to Ernie.
Yes.
And Ernie runs all the Zoom and website stuff.
Okay,
So he'll write something up and it'll be advertised.
okay, I sent it to him because he had asked for a picture.
Yep.
And I explained to him what it was about. Strictly
No,
a
he's-
clinic.
He'll take care of it. It's already scheduled, as you know, and
Yep.
all the link will all go out, a couple of weeks beforehand. And
Sounds good.
yeah, it's,
Hopefully they get something out of it.
well, we'll give them a snap quiz.
Yeah.
They'll be graded or go against their graduate, their grade at the end of the
Their
semester.
MMR. Yeah.
And end of the semester grading. Unannounced quiz. There you go.
Unannounced quiz. Yeah, there you are.
Hey, I had unannounced exams when I was taking chemistry.
Oh.
Hey,
8 o'clock in the morning, you walk in, surprise, you got an hour exam.
Yeah. Have you been studying? Nope.
You weren't, well, if you did, you had no problem passing. You
That's
had no
right,
problem
yeah.
getting a B or better.
Yeah.
But if you didn't,
You're done.
you were dead in the water.
Has anyone tried these Eru Japanese drives?
No. I
Never
didn't
saw
know
them
they were
before.
available. Never saw them before.
Yeah. The distributors in Australia, I ordered a couple of them there. So they're double. I mean, they're geared really well. They're geared actually better than Northwest Shortline.
They
But
got
the
another
motor,
motor on top of the gearing system. That's
yeah, it doesn't have the kind of clearance that the Northwest Shortline does.
yeah.
They
You have to
appear
make
to
a
have,
pretty big hole.
How do you mount that thing?
Yeah.
It comes with like laser cut brass or bronze, an assortment of ways to mount it. The motor pops off, and there are different kind of plates that you can put on. to
Oh,
mount.
there's a plate that goes below the motor.
Yeah. And it looked like there were like 4 or 5 different ways to mount it.
Yeah.
Um,
they appear to have a reasonably good reputation on one of the narrow gauge modelling UK sites that I'm on. They've been using them reasonably successfully for the locomotives.
Yeah, and interesting, Eru doesn't carry it anymore, but I forget the name of the company, but the Australian company I bought it from carries it. So they may have exclusive, or they
Wow.
bought out all the stock. This is some of
Brass
the mounting plates are on there. One thing would be great if the guys that are selling this from Australia could get a translation from the Japanese instructions, because it's photos only. You only have the photos to deal with.
I was worried that you were going to say you need a translation from Australian.
Well, it'd be a double translation.
Might be needed.
Now.
Okay, Gary. John, I'm sorry about that. Oh,
And-
man.
And remember, I'm narrow-minded as well.
Oh.
Well,
Yeah, it's too bad it's too far away. I'd love to go to that narrow gauge show.
I got there in 2013 for the Pasadena one. The way US organise their conventions is considerably different than the way they're done in Australia. So, I was part of the organising committee for the last Australian narrow gauge convention. But the Australian conventions are every second year. There's one on next Easter in Melbourne. If anyone wants a long international flight and to see the best of Australian narrow gauge modelling, can I suggest the Australian narrow gauge convention Easter next year?
Long ways away.
Yeah.
And
Where-
you
where
might
is
even,
it? Where
Melbourne,
is it?
the Australian narrow gauge convention will be at Noble Park. It's a Melbourne suburb in Melbourne, Victoria.
Huh.
I can feed you the link from their website, Martin. I can do that off list.
Yeah, would you please? No, I've got 2 or 3 open invitations to come to Australia and do a lecture
Give you a
tour.
reason.
No, do a lecture tour, and if I could line them all up together, it would give me a reason to be there for a couple of weeks.
Okay. And just remember, Australia is just as big as continental US. Don't expect
I
to
know.
do the Barrier Reef, Melbourne, climb the Sydney Harbour Bridge all in the one day. It ain't happening.
No. That's why I went several weeks. And
Hey, if it's several weeks and you make it into New South Wales, I'll offer to go guide for you.
that might work too. No, I had several open invitations to give lectures in Australia, but it's never been realistic.
Right. Well, I'll feed you the link off list.
Yeah, it might work. We'll see.
And if you can base it around Easter next year, you'll get the Australian narrow gauge convention as well. There's usually 1 or 2 make it from the US, and we've had a couple from Canada.
Yeah.
They've made it down. So,
Quite a trip.
hey, it's just as long me going the other way, remember?
I know that.
Well,
I don't
It's
think our
about
dollar goes as far.
well,
your dollar buys 30% more of our dollars.
You're kidding.
yeah, that's
No.
about right. That's about what the exchange rate is.
Yeah.
If I can get better than 70 cents US for 1 Australian dollar, I'm doing well.
Well, ours are Canadian dollar ain't worth much against an American dollar.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of a global thing because the euro is at parity with the dollar now.
That
Yep.
things are going to change, I think.
Yeah, it might change to our advantage if that war gets any worse.
Well,
As winter
Nobody wants it.
approaches and they start running out of gas,
That's going to be the interesting one. I find it interesting that the Germans have got some real problems now because they're just about out of water in the Rhine. It's been a massive drought over there. So a lot of their coal, oil, chemical traffic moves by water on the Rhine.
Yep.
The Rhine's down to 1.5 metres in places. So that's 4'6" deep before you
Yep.
bottom out. It's putting a hell of a crimp in the barge traffic, which means a lot of stuff has either got to go by road or by rail. So the German railway system's being incredibly squeezed at present to move as much stuff as it can.
yeah.
So I was there in 2018 when they had another drought. The river cruise I was supposed to do was supposed to start out in Budapest and wind up in Amsterdam. Well, we made it almost out of Austria, and then we got bussed from Austria to Koblenz in Germany, basically, and did the rest of the cruise downstream of Koblenz. The narrow, or the bit that's causing the real problem is near Koblenz, just upstream. And it's down, they expect it to be 1.5 metres within the next week, which will kill all barge traffic because you can't put enough cargo on the barge to make it worthwhile running the engines upstream.
Yeah.
Could ask Texas to get some of that
Yeah,
water
I
they
heard,
got.
I heard they're down to like 25% loads on the barges.
Yeah, they were at 25% when we were there in 2018. And it's incredible the amount of traffic on that river. It really is. Quite often you'll have 5 barges in a line or in sight before you hit the next bend. So you're just continually running past barge after barge after barge. The amount of stuff they move on the river is a real eye-opener.
And the same thing's happening in China too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard they're in trouble with their water as well.
Yeah.
Well, and they've had temperatures that are, in the hundreds, and
Okay.
not a place where there's a lot of AC.
Has Lake
Yeah,
Mead
well-
got any better?
They can't run their power plants to spin the AC anyway, even if they had AC.
Yeah.
I'll leave the politics out, but there's a reason they can't run their coal-fired power stations.
But
Anyway,
Boy,
go on
well-
and on and on and on.
Yeah. It's surprising some of the stuff you'll see along the river. So if ever you get the chance to do one of those Rhine River cruises, it's double track main line either side of the river.
Yeah.
It's unlikely that you are going to wait more than 5 to 10 minutes before you see either a freight or a passenger train heading on one of those tracks. And you need your head on a swivel, otherwise you're going to miss stuff that rolls past. And the amount of stuff that the German railways moves on rail up and down that Rhine River is incredible. It's just wall-to-wall trains.
Guys, I'm going to jump off and throw this over to Pat. I've got to get something to eat. So
You go enjoy your meal.
I
there.
will leave you guys and we'll see you all next week.
Okay.
Bye now.
right.
Take care.
Oh, what the?
Anyhow,
What the?
I liked your article in the Osaka magazine in May and June about the new tracks article you put in at the end of the.
Oh yeah, I stuck a
That
little
was a
thing
nice
in the
little
back.
thing.
Well, we're putting a full 2-month schedule in now.
Yeah. There's also a nice article about that those diesel switchers that you had in there too, about the ones made by
Was that that's Jim DeBruin's column?
yeah. That was quite interesting.
Yeah, he's off on drives and gearing and
Yeah.
all that. Well, while he's doing that next year, Marty McGregian's going to jump in on drives for steam engines.
Is he?
Yep, 5 parts.
Wow.
Yeah, I
got
just got the 5th part today.
Wow.
Or yesterday.
I'm going to take off too. See you guys later.
All right, you
right.
take care of yourself.
Okay.
Yep.
Bye, John.
Let us know how the gentleman's making out.
Yes.
You guys want to hang on for a while, or do you want to leave, or what do you have in mind?
Well, I've got nothing else to do but get some
Yeah.
sleep and
Yeah.
recover.
Yeah.
That tree that was a. I'm glad I'm not doing that anymore.
What's that?
Trying to cut up firewood. And I can't work like that.
Well, that's not a small tree you're working with.
No. I paid guys to put it on the ground, but I'm out of shape so bad.
That'll kill you, for crying out loud.
Yeah. Well, using a chainsaw used to be something, all day long. Don't worry
What are
about
you going
it.
to do for splitting it, Martin?
I'll do that by hand.
Uh-huh.
I have every year.
Well,
Yeah.
if you think cutting the tree's bad enough, when do you start chopping the damn thing?
I split wood every year by hand.
Yeah.
Well, no wonder you're in such good shape.
Hammer and 3 wedges and a pole axe.
Yeah.
And the pole axe.
Wedges do it.
Poleaxe has been I've used that poleaxe since I was 17.
They're nice and fat at the top and small.
Yeah, don't try it with ironbark.
Uh,
Oh,
or black locust.
that'll kill you.
That'll test you.
Bounce right back at you.
Yeah. Well, I'm not even going to split this till next year. It's going to sit there and dry for a year.
Yeah. But you're going to cut it up into short
It's
blocks. Short
Already
sections.
done. Already
Oh.
done, except I've got one pile that I have to do. I was going to do it tomorrow, Friday.
How tall was this tree?
Oh, God. I have no idea.
Wow.
I
Did you
mean,
get some nice planks out of that? Get
Well,
Well,
it
you
yeah.
already
down?
cut it up into stove wood.
I swear, I really, really regret not having a big horizontal bandsaw to cut planks out of it.
Yeah.
Oh, some beautiful, beautiful.
Almost seems a shame.
The main, huh?
It almost seems a shame.
It was. The first 40, 50 feet, perfectly straight.
Wow, that's a shame.
Yeah.
Nowadays, planks like that, and you leave the raw edge on. It's become popular, and they're
Oh, yeah, the live edge.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the big thing right now.
Well, this would have been boring as for a live edge because it's straight. Yeah, they like all the ins and outs,
weird
and curves and
designs.
stuff.
Yeah.
They like the
curves
shapes and stuff. This stuff's, man, this would have made beautiful beams.
Yeah.
You could have cut this into six by sixes and 20 feet long.
You got any more like that around your place?
Oh, I've got a bigger one.
A bigger one.
Oh yeah, there's a white oak
Ooh.
a little bit further back from the house, but it's a good 30% bigger. I got a couple of poplars that are almost as big.
Yeah, well,
Hold on a
You know-
second here. Let's see.
you got a picture of it?
I got a picture of the stump. If I could figure out where'd it go? Here we go. Gardening folder. Oh, that's not it. There it is. Oh, I might have a picture of the tree. I don't know. Let's see. Well, that's how close it is to the house. Yeah. Okay. So let's see what we can do here. Where'd you go? Bring that up. Wow, bugger. There we go. Let's see. How's that?
Oh, I'd be cutting it down too.
You see that nice lean there,
hmm
and you see how close it is to the house. That's the garage.
That'll help your eave trough from getting filled up every year.
Yeah, well, there's gutter guards on it, so it just runs off. Let's see if I can. Come
They
on,
must have
picture.
had fun cutting that thing down, eh?
Oh yeah, 3 guys. There it is. That's how close it was to the neighbor's fence.
Oh,
Yeah, tight. So they took out this sweet gum.
oh yeah.
So it's all open behind. There's a whole open area back here where I normally have firewood stashed.
Hmm.
Big area back there in between. Yeah, you can see there's one of the poplars.
Poplars
It's-
are fairly popular.
That one's 20 feet back from the oaks. That's a big poplar.
Wow. There's some right on your fence line.
Well, the one that's not mine. That one, those on on the fence line, they actually belong to the neighbor.
Oh, you gained a few inches, did you?
Yeah. So let's see. There it is up close. It's a big
Wow.
bit of a tree. There's the sweet gum that went away. Let's see. There's where that's where most of it ended up.
Wow.
Yeah, that's most of it. That's some more of it that I have to cut up to
The limbs
tomorrow.
alone are big enough.
Huh?
The limbs alone are big enough.
Oh yeah, they're gonna get split. That's mainly the red oak from this tree, and what's underneath it is the white oak from the neighbor's tree I got last week. There's your
Yeah,
stump. There's your stump.
Wow. Look at count the rings on that, would you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cross section of that, just above that would be nice for furniture. A
I was just
table or-
thinking tabletop, eh, Larry?
I thought about asking them to cut me a 4-inch slice, but
But the
well,
only
that-
problem with that is you got to seal it. You
Oh,
gotta
yeah.
use that sealer on it before you.
Oh yeah, you got to seal it. But by the time I got around to that in the afternoon, I hesitated to ask them to cut. Hey, what could you slice me off 4 inches there?
He probably was just glad to get it done.
You still got to run it through a planer.
Well, yeah, or a sanding unit.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
depending on how they cut it. I got some pieces like that I'm going to use for bases for like little dioramas, logging dioramas, or just to display a shay on.
well, that was a big chainsaw,
Yeah.
bigger than anything I own.
Yeah.
It was at least a 20. Had to be more than a 24-inch bar. They had 5 or 6 saws. They had 5 or 6 saws. So
Wow.
yeah, there's the pile I cut up last week.
That's just the limbs.
Yeah.
That's the white oak from across the way.
Oh.
Yeah, that was a tank of gas in the chainsaw.
You're gonna have a nice hot fire for the winter anyway.
Well, I've got. Let's see. Well, let's back up. Yeah, there it is. You see this blue tarp?
Yeah.
That's the wood for this year.
You've had it for a couple of years.
No, it's last year.
Last year.
Yeah, it's left over from last year, or
So what do you
stuff I split since between last year and now.
Fireplace or is it a stove?
Fireplace. Fireplace with a glass front.
Yeah.
Nothing beats the wood heat. I don't care what they say.
It gets hot in there.
Oh, I'm sure it does.
My goodness.
That'll burn for a while.
Yeah, and I had a little cherry taken down too while they were there. I was about 12 inches.
You got a good variety of trees on your property.
It's one of the reasons we bought this house is that unlike most of the houses, they bulldozed everything and scraped everything.
Yeah.
We went out, we toured this house, 30 plus years ago. We got out on the deck and there were trees, real trees, not little piddly things that people had planted, real original trees. They left on both sides of the house a little mini forest.
Beautiful.
And we were like, oh, this is too cool. The location's perfect and we have our own little forest. Yeah. What's not to like?
That's right. That's what you were looking for.
Yeah. And it's kind of secluded with the forest, right? It's very, and I'm what? Walking distance to the DC Beltway.
Mm.
Yeah.
I'm less than a mile, about a mile. It is about a mile to the DC Beltway. So I got deer in my backyard.
Yeah.
You can't see it in this photo, but over to the left behind the garage. Well, actually, wait a minute. Let's see. Back up garage. Yeah. Oh, the deer. This is next behind the garage. The whole back garden bed is all hosta. Blasted deer ate the hosta.
My wife loves hosta.
They ate the hosta. It all bloomed. Then they came in and ate it all.
Well, that's the best tasting stuff there is.
Well, they usually eat the blooms before they actually open.
Okay.
So, for years, we'd never seen the daggone things bloom because they put out the stalk, the buds are there, the next morning they're all gone. It's like, come in, get the candy, and run away.
That's like having fruit trees and having the birds come and take all the cherries off it before you get any.
That's like my old apple trees up in Pennsylvania. Anything under 10 feet belonged to the deer.
Yep.
We got grapevines over the top of our waterfalls and that, but we've never had any of them before they get ripe enough for us to eat. All the little raccoons and everything else takes them, the birds.
Free meal.
Yep.
And we have deer here right in the city. I'm right in not the heart of Toronto. I'm just close enough to downtown, and we got deer. There's deer signs on their major streets
Oh yeah.
for crossing.
We got deer. We got all the small varmints. We got foxes. We have foxes all over the place. There's apparently an epidemic of foxes in the DC area.
I had a fox in the backyard about 3 weeks ago. I had my daughter here, and they were on the back deck, and it was just after dark, and out came a fox, and we have a bird bath.
Uh-huh.
We had a long, dry, hot spell, and he was so thirsty, he was getting up onto the bird bath to have a drink with us only about 25 feet away.
Normally, you would really watch something like that because you don't know. Eh?
Yeah, I was thinking about rabies right away.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
there were actually people bit by foxes near down by the Capitol in DC. That did test, and they got the fox. They did test positive for rabies.
Yeah.
You'll have to go through the whole shot mechanism.
Yeah, well, it's not as horrible as it used to be, but
Oh yeah.
it's a lot simpler than it used to be. But still, yeah, it's we've got our own little.
Only Eden, they call it. Garden of
Yeah.
Eden.
Yeah, it's nice.
Don't look like you have a lot of grass to worry about.
Takes me 45 minutes to mow front and back. But yeah, but that's, I did it, was it Monday? Mowed it Monday. No, sorry, Sunday. I mowed it Sunday. Drained 3 batteries.
Everything is dry here. I haven't had to cut the lawn since about the middle of July.
Yeah.
A good thing too, because I've been away on three vacations back to back. Just in the door, replenish the suitcase and out again. So
A little traveling, eh?
yeah, I was supposed to go to the National Gauge Committee. I just canceled my room yesterday, and I'm backing out of it. I'd like to go, but
That's a long ways, like even there, just
well, I was
Travel by
at
air.
the Seattle one not too long ago, and so a lot of the stuff is the same stuff because
You've
it's so
seen
close.
some.
Yeah,
Okay.
so and I enjoyed the waterfront and everything. That's what I wanted. If I went again, it wasn't so much, the convention itself. It's just I want to look around the area some more, and I love that part of the world. And west or north of there, up along the coast.
Yeah. Well, it's
Well, guys.
pushing 10 o'clock for me. So
yeah. Shall we shut her down?
Yeah, Mr.
Yeah.
Vermont there he's pretty quiet.
Is he now?
Well, it's one of those things of you're talking about nature and all that. I mean, it's like I'm just thinking of where I'm at. It's like nature's all over the place.
Yeah.
There was one time I think it was about 2 weeks ago that when I was driving up to work and all that, I turned the corner and all that, and there's a deer right in the, basically in the lawn portion of my workplace, and it's sort of like all of a sudden it's sort of like stiffened right up and all that, like and sort of like looking right at me, and then sort of did a was watching me like a hawk and all that. I turned the corner heading for the parking lot and all that, and it just bolted the other direction because it's like it didn't know